Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for being on time. We're going to start soon. Some of your friends aren't here yet, so they will still be streaming in. Okay, I think we have quite a lot of the team leaders here already. Those who are not here, they've managed to send a substitute. Okay, without further ado, I think Mr. Marcus Chong and I, we will begin this briefing. This briefing, primarily the reason is to update you on what the deliverables for this final term. You are really coming to an end for STEAMaker already. Okay, I will pass the time on to Mr. Marcus Chong, who will kickstart the briefing, and then I will take the second part of the briefing today. Thank you, Mr. Chong.
Okay, can all of you hear me? Can? Okay, thank you. Thanks for some reaction. Okay, so hope to, for today's session, right, hope we can end I think within half an hour. Okay, so what you can do is you can maybe if you want, you can, we will be sharing a video, but you might want to take note of some important points so you can start reacting to these points at the end of this briefing. Okay, so nice to see all of you again, right? Welcome back to school. And today we'll be sharing with you a bit more about STEAMaker, what you will encounter in term 3. Okay. Okay, so as usual, this is the link to the STEAMaker website. Okay, just a reminder that this website you're supposed to continue to include all the information inside. Okay, so it's not something that ends in term 2, right? You'll continue updating this website with more information. Okay. Now, so let's move on to what you will encounter in term 3. Yeah, of course, when it comes to a project, there will be key submissions. There will be submissions that you need to complete. Okay, so the first one would be your final prototype. Okay, so you might wonder when would this final prototype be done. Okay, so it will actually be done in term 3 week 6. All right, so as usual, it will not be a particular day because this one you'll be meeting with your mentors. So I think we know that we can't be meeting all on the same day, right? Some of us have commitments. Okay, so we'll have a range of dates that you can meet your mentors. But let's try to meet by National Day. Okay, so by 4th of August, 4 p.m. Okay, you should have arranged to meet your mentors. We'll let you know more about what you can do to prepare for this final prototype later. Okay, the next thing after this final prototype, right, is actually your STEAMaker fair. Okay, if you notice, just now the final prototype was 20%. The STEAMaker fair is actually 25%, so it's even more than the final prototype. Okay, what will happen during the STEAMaker fair, we'll tell you in a while. Okay, but take note that this is on the 21st of August. Okay, this one, everybody will be involved on the same day, 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Now, what's happening after that? On the next day, okay, we would like to conclude this whole STEAMaker project by doing a final reflection and also a peer review. Okay, so just to take notes, okay, both of them are somewhat going to be affecting your final grades for STEAMaker. Okay, so do take note. Do also share with your friends about this. Okay, it will eventually also constitute 10% of your STEAMaker grades. Okay, so let's look at in terms of calendar-wise. Okay, so now to prepare ourselves for term 3 week 6. Okay, there's a few things that we might need to do. All right, and after that we will have 2 more weeks to prepare before the STEAMaker fair. Okay, so now until term 3 week 6. All right. Do continue. I believe you have started building. Okay, so do continue to build. Okay, you can see your seniors, they were building their prototype in the past, right? Along the way, do also document what you have done, okay, in terms of the process on the website, because eventually I think you might want to share with your mentors. You might want to share with your schoolmates and the teachers who are going to evaluate and to watch your presentation during the STEAMaker fair. They might want to know how the process is like. So do take photos, okay, and also put it on the website so that eventually you can use the information on the website to share. Along the way, because from now until your final prototype, okay, means from prototype 1 until your final prototype, there will be improvements made. Do also record down these improvements. Okay, now by the time term 3 week 6, right, you need to make sure that your prototype actually can work. Okay, you should also be prepared that your mentors will play around with your prototype. Okay, if your mentors were to play with it and to see whether it works, along the way, if it were to break, or along the way, if it were to, maybe when it touch water, or when it when it drops and then it start disintegrating, okay, then I think this will also mean that it's not a very feasible prototype. Okay, so do ensure that it's, when people touch and play around with your prototype, it will actually not disintegrate. Okay, so to ensure that that's something that you also pay attention to when you prepare for it. Okay, eventually, I mean, we are all doing a project where we look at sustainable packaging. Okay, so do ensure that the product, the food item, can actually be inside the prototype. Okay, and the best if you can actually use the actual materials. Okay, yeah, and also of course do also gather feedback from your target group and record it down in your STEAMaker website. Okay, let's see. Okay, yes, let's see what's next. Now in term 3 week 2, which is actually next week, you might want to meet your mentors. Okay, because I think your mentors might have some feedback and they might want to give you some advice. Okay, because do also take note that during the STEAMaker fair, the teachers who evaluate your group, right, will not be your mentors. Okay, so your mentors, I believe they would have along the way when they work with you, they will actually know what are some things that might, can be done. Okay, and I think your mentors would like to share with you all this before you actually create your final prototype. So do meet your mentors and maybe if you can, let them play around with your prototype as well. Because I think when you start fiddling and start playing around with your prototype, that's when people can give you feedback and advice. But if you come for the meeting in term 3 week 2 without anything, then I think your mentor will not be able to provide you with any feedback that is, constructive, that will allow you to improve it. And eventually during your final prototype presentation, that could actually be, the day where you'll be evaluated already. Okay, so treat the term 3 week 2 session as one where you can actually get feedback from your mentor. So you need to provide them with materials. You need to provide them with, if possible, a prototype to play with. Okay, so okay, now I think this meeting, it'll be good if everyone can attend. Okay, don't only just send one person to meet your mentor. Okay, because I think this is a group project, everybody need to contribute lah. Okay, now some other things to take note before we move on to the final prototype presentation. Okay, do ensure that your website, okay, is updated, because you can actually use the website to present to your mentors, okay, in term 3 week 6. And also bear in mind that the website will be graded eventually. Okay, I think all this we have also mentioned it just now, right, when it comes to how do you update it regularly. Okay, but also do ensure that the homepage and the self-intro page are also updated. Okay, so when it comes to the homepage and the about us page, okay, do also include your mentors inside. Okay, all right, now so let me just include everything first. Okay, sorry. So I think this one most of the group should already have attempted this in term 2. Okay, but bear in mind that whenever you gather feedback from your target group, okay, sometimes we all know, right, could be due to time constraint. Okay, you often ask your friends. Okay, but do bear in mind that your friends or your schoolmates, your classmates, right, they may not be from a target group. So try your best to find people that are from a target group. Can also be your parents or your friends' parents or teachers or someone who actually would use the product. And also you should justify to your mentor or your evaluate, the teacher who evaluate your group. Why is that person chosen, or why is that group chosen? Okay, so like for example, when you see teachers, which teacher do you choose and why do you choose that teacher? Could it be because you know the teacher actually consume that kind of food? You actually have evidence to show the teacher actually do consume that food. That would be actually a very good justification. Don't just anyhow choose a friend or a schoolmate or a teacher to test your product when the person actually will not even consume that kind of food. Okay, so that's why it will be good to justify whenever you do make a decision. Always have reasons. Always have a statement to justify why you select something. Okay, so just bear in mind about this as well. Okay, of course, it can't be your teammate. I think that one is quite clear. Okay. So what's coming up in term 3 week 6, of course, is the actual presentation. Okay, you might want to start booking this date with your teachers right now. Okay, because it's coming up soon, but some of us, you might have things happening that week. So it would be good to arrange with teachers starting from next week onwards. All right, a date within term 3 week 6. Okay. So this is the rubrics. You can always read it on your own. In fact, actually, we would like all of you to refer to the rubrics to know exactly how to aim, for, of course, the top marks for this evaluation. Okay, so we're not going to care about the level 1 or level 2 for some of them. Okay, because we will want to look at what is the important thing. Okay, I think some of the things we have mentioned already, but we'd like to remind you, okay, that the prototype must be able to function. Okay, so do not only just look at, when you say function, right, you must also take note of what is the needs, the characteristics of the product and the consumer. Okay, so bear in mind that if, let's say, we take your prototype and we were to let someone else from another group, okay, contain their food product. If, let's say, it's possible, right, means that you probably didn't really make full use of actually never really consider the needs and the characteristics of the food product. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean. What I'm trying to say is that when you design something, it has to take into account the specific needs and characteristics of the food product that you chose. But if I will take your prototype and pass it to another group to contain their food product, and it also can work for their food product, means that probably you didn't really take into account the needs of your food product well, because it can also be used for any other food product in the world. Okay, so that's why it would be good to think of how do you modify it such that it really only works for the food product that you chose. It can't be used for other food products because maybe of the size, because of the nature of it, because of the characteristics, because of maybe the surface, the temperature. There must be things that is specific to your food product. Okay, so this is something, in order to get full marks, to get close to full marks, you need to make sure that it really targets the product and the consumer that you chose. Okay, so I think that is the main thing, because once you have thought about that, actually the rest of the rubrics will also follow the same idea. Okay, all right, now let's move on to, okay, I think this one, Mr. Tan will have already mentioned to you all this, okay, in the chat. And I think most of you have already gotten the logistics today. But if you have not, you might want to check in with him again or check with me, right? When can you actually get all these items that the school have bought? If you need, okay, to purchase anything, right? If you can, if you want to use items that you can find at home, okay, you can always proceed with that. But if, let's say, you want to purchase something, okay, I think we all know that when you purchase in large quantity, it'll be cheaper and it'll be easier as well. Okay, so you might want to let us know, and we can arrange this for you. But of course, if you want to use something that's at home, okay, so you can always proceed with that. Okay. Now, okay, so this is something that I think you might want to know a bit more also, because this will be quite an exciting day. Everybody will be involved in this. Okay, it will be from 3 to 5:30 p.m. All right, let me just clear everything to show you to show you how the actual process will be like. Okay, so there will be evaluators. This will be teachers that they are not your mentor. They'll be walking around. Okay, so you will need to present to them. And I think there will be a moment where they will ask you certain questions. Okay, so other than the teachers who are evaluating you, your friends, your schoolmates, maybe even Mrs. To, right? They will also be walking around, and I think it'll be good you can share with them. Treat this as an opportunity for you to speak to a group of people, and I think yeah, it'll be quite enjoyable to also see how your friends, their prototype are like. Okay, so do prepare yourself for this day. All right, come prepared. Try not to refer to your phones and your iPads when you speak, right? Try to be confident and read based on what you know about your product. Okay, treat this as like a conversation with someone to share. Doesn't need to be word for word exactly the same as your script, but speak confidently, right? Just speak based on what you know. Okay, so it takes a bit of practice, right? So maybe set aside maybe the week before to already prepare and read out your script. Okay, and along the way, don't need to remember word for word, right? Be confident on the actual day. Okay. So this will be open to, like as mentioned, okay, the school community. Okay. Now the rubrics, right, for the STEAMaker Fair, again, same thing. We will just focus on what is the highest level. Okay, you can see, right, just now I mentioned about like you need to have your eye contact, you need to be able to be confident. These are basic things that we expect. Okay, but I think what's more important is to also bring in, that means when you share, try to also refer to your prototype. Okay, so it would be good to have maybe a demonstration. It'd be good to actually touch your prototype. It'd be good to actually show how it works. Okay, don't only just have a PowerPoint slide and or a website and just speak. Okay, try to make it interactive. Okay, and I think, yeah, if you were to do all that, you will realize that when people enjoy your presentation, I'm quite sure the assessors will give you good grades. Okay, so try to make it interactive, try to make it interesting for them as well. All right. When it comes to Q&A, what you can do is to prepare certain questions first that you think people will ask you, right? And also rehearse, right, some of the responses. Okay. But on the actual day, remember, treat it as a conversation. So when someone asks you a question, do not just only like, how do I phrase it? Like, do not just try to recall your memorized answers. Okay, treat it as like your memorized. Okay, treat it as the answers that you have prepared are like a data bank of things you can say, right? And then along the way, when it comes to Q&A, right, even though the assessor might have posed you a question that you didn't prepare for, but you might be able to find links and connect them with some of the things that you have prepared. Okay, and don't just read out and try to memorize the answers word for word. Okay, so there are things that you can prepare. Okay, but I think this one you might want to discuss with your mentors also, how to prepare well. Okay, and I think along the way we'll guide you lah. Okay, can. Okay, yeah. So in terms of what do you need to bring for the actual day? Okay, if you can show the process. Okay, remember when it comes to website building, when it comes to even these presentations, we want to see the process. So if you have all the versions of your prototypes, it'd be good to show. Okay, the whole space for you is to lay out whatever that you have, right? So if you have those, keep it with you. You can use it during your fair. Okay, the final prototype, of course, when it comes to the devices that you'll be using, right? Make sure they are fully charged. Okay, and connected to Wi-Fi, possible to be connected to Wi-Fi, right? Do need to prepare documents? Do you need to prepare like posters? Okay, you can actually use your website to show. Okay. Now, if you would like to use any presentation tools, you may use them as well. Okay, but you will need the device. So if you want, you can bring your laptop. You want to use iPad, also can. Try not to use your phone. Okay, I mean, try not to use your phone to present. Okay, relax. I mean, well, if you use a phone, it'll be quite hard to see. Okay, but try to use either iPad or laptop. And when it comes to your verbal presentation, remember, don't refer to a script if possible. Okay. Okay, the format. So it will be held in the library. Okay, so you can imagine each group will be getting a library table. Well, the prototype should be on the table. Remember, because it's actually meant for food packaging. Okay, so we don't put food items on the floor. Okay, but of course, if it's too big, then feel free to put it on the floor lah. Okay, but by right, based on the context, it should be on the table because it's a food item. Okay, the mentors will be coming around. Of course, the assessors will also be coming around to listen to your group. Okay, and also your friends, maybe like school leaders as well. Yeah, so you feel free as I say, for a group to do well, you need to show demonstration. Can't just only be a verbal presentation. Okay, so try to make use of make it interactive for everybody as well. Okay. All right, so I think I'll pass the time over to Mr. Tan, okay, who will be sharing with you a bit more about how to use the iPad, as well as other ways, okay, to prepare for the next few things to submit.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chong. All right, so for this next segment, okay, I will not go in detail how you can use your iPad for presentation, but I think the intent of showing you this is to show you the possibilities. I have seen seniors in one way they've used their iPads in quite a creative way. For example, they gave one of their iPads to the teacher, after which they use their iPad to control the teacher's iPad. So whatever they're screening on their own iPad, the teacher will see exactly the same thing. If that is something that you're interested in being able to do, for example, to screen share whatever you're showing on one iPad to another, all these instructions are inside your guidebook. It teaches you how you can set up this function so that you can really use your iPad as a mini PowerPoint screen, okay, for the teacher to look through as you guide them through. So I will not go in depth, but the instructions and steps are shown inside the guidebook. Okay, just want to give you some tips for your presentation so that you have a pleasant one and the teachers and everyone enjoy themselves. Tip number one, always remember, don't just tell, show your mentors what you've accomplished through your demonstrations and also all the photos on your websites. Okay, it is a show and tell. Okay, so number two, as you are doing your presentation, you want to, okay, what is number two? Okay, so I think many of us, when we are presenting, we are very focused on the product itself. But actually, if you look at your rubrics, one of the things you want to listen to is your journey and how the product has changed from start to end. Some of your first prototype really look like garbage, but by the final one, it looks so amazing. We want to see that change. We want to see that journey. Okay, so it's not just about the final product, it's about your whole journey. Okay, tip number three, spruce up your team website because you can use your website for your presentation. You do not need to create posters. You've done such a wonderful website. Why not use it for your presentation itself? Okay, tip number four. For tip number four, be enthusiastic. This, after all, is your project. It is your own hard work. Only you can sell its value. No one else can. Okay, so enjoy yourself as you present also. Okay, next slide. Okay, tip number five, ensure that each teammate has a role to play. Maybe not everyone is speaking, or maybe everyone can speak, but everyone must have a role to play. Okay, no one should just be standing there. Okay, next slide. Okay, I'm going to answer some common questions that students have about the STEAMaker Fair. So first question, what if I don't want to use my team website to complement my STEAMaker presentation, okay, during the fair itself? That is totally fine, okay, if you don't want to use your website for your presentation, but you may still want to showcase images of the process and your past prototypes and also the progress of your methods. Okay, that is where you've been parking, your website has been where you've been parking everything. But if you want to print everything out and show them separately on a board that you make yourself, go ahead, up to you. Okay, but our baseline is the easiest thing you can do is just show your website. Okay, next question. Can I let the teachers test the final product? Okay, and my answer to that is, of course. In fact, I think it will be more engaging, like Mr. Chong said, to let them touch your product, let them use it. And I think it's going to be very interesting. Okay, just make sure it's within the duration of 7 minutes. Okay, next common question. Is it compulsory to use your iPad during the STEAMaker Fair presentation? No, it is not. So as I said, it was just a suggestion. We've seen some seniors do this before, and it was quite engaging. But if you have any other method to make the presentation engaging, please feel free to go ahead. Okay, next common question. Can I create additional props or materials to make my presentation more engaging? Please go ahead. Okay, iPad really is just our suggestion, a baseline. But you can go ahead and use any other method you want to make the presentation more engaging. Okay, I think there's one last question. Some students ask, between my mentor assessing my final prototype all the way to the STEAMaker Fair, there is like around 2 weeks of time. Am I allowed to modify my final product before I go for the fair? Okay, so the answer is can. If you find that after you assess for your final product, you feel like, hey, this is not good enough, you feel for your STEAMaker Fair, go ahead and modify it. But we just have to make it very clear when we grade you for your final prototype week 6, that grade is final. Whatever you show and present during the STEAMaker Fair, it will not change the grade in week 6. Okay, I say again, any improvement made from week 6 onwards will not change your grade from the one that was given to you in week 6. Instead, what it could help you with is it may make your demonstration better. It may help the mentors engage in the product better. That may help in your presentation on the actual day, and that may help the grade in that area. Okay. Okay, so next. So I just want to summarize the overview of what you need to do. From now until term 3, week 6, please begin to your final build. That's the first thing. Term 3, week 2, arrange a time to meet your mentor for some updates. I understand that you may not have built a lot, or maybe you are still in the process of brainstorming, you have some materials, you want to show your mentor, or whatever it is, term 3, week 2 is a good time to sit down with them to discuss how your final build is going to really look like. Number 3, constantly document your prototype process on the team website. I've scanned through the websites. I noticed some groups take a lot of photos of their building process, some very few. So you do want to take as many photos of what you are doing. Number 4, seek feedback on your final prototype and document it on your team website. Okay, these are all graded. If you look at the rubrics, it's very clear. Number 5, term 3, week 6, that is when you have to demonstrate your final prototype to your mentor. So make sure you go and book a date with your mentor as soon as possible, yeah? Okay, number 6, in term 3, week 6 is where you also submit your final website link, okay? We will grade your website in term 3, week 6. Term 3, week 9 is when STEAMaker Fair will be. Everyone must be present, and that is where you will show and tell. Okay, last but not least, after that, there will be a peer review and a reflection, and that is all for this term. Okay, so some tips for term 3. Always remember that when you're working with each other, there are some things that you can do to work together healthily. First and foremost is to update your mentor regularly. You want to plan your work timeline, allocate job scopes clearly, and set your deadlines clearly for yourself. If we don't set that up, 6 weeks will fly by very fast. So take the initiative, don't just wait for instructions, but yet always ask when in doubt. I'm very, very appreciative for a lot of you here. I always remember Lok Yi is always asking questions inside the chat group one, and it helps to share, I see Lok Yi on my screen right now. It really helps to enlighten a lot of people. And then sometimes I make mistakes also. Like Clara just recently asked, when is this meeting? Actually, it's today. Okay. Okay, but first things first, today, this is what you need to do. So contact your mentor to arrange for at least 2 meetings. What are these 2 meetings? Term 3, week 2. Next week, you want to find them for some progress or to discuss what you're going to do. Term 3, week 6, this is graded. You must arrange for a demonstration of your final prototype. Okay, this demonstration must be face-to-face, and all members must attend, not should attend. All members must be present for the demonstration, okay, because this is graded. Okay, so enjoy yourself. We want to bring your final prototype to life. Many of your seniors find this process quite fulfilling because they really get to see a real workable product. And for those of you that really bring it to life, we are going to spot these ideas during the STEAMaker Fair. And once we spot good ideas, we're going to send you for competition after that. On top of that, don't throw away your website. It serve as a very good portfolio for many of your seniors who are signing up for engineering, STEM-related careers, degrees that they want to apply for. The portfolio really beefs up their as evidence that they have done something that's related to STEM. Okay, so don't throw that away. It's actually very useful for your SH life. Okay, so I think that's all for today. We overran by around 2 minutes. Just want to wish all of you all the best. We are going to hold up for a few minutes to answer any questions you may have. Really, just ask any questions. We may have left some out. But after around 3 to 4 minutes, if no one asks questions, then I think Mr. Chong and I will also close off this session. We thank you all for being around for these 30 minutes. Okay, so now we open the floor to some questions. We'll do our best to answer as much as possible. You can write it in the chat, or you can just broadcast it immediately.
Mr. Tan, for
Yes.
our final prototype, right? And then we are asking people for feedback. Do we still need to change the final prototype since it's already like final?
Oh, understand. So for example, you create your final prototype ready, right? Then you go and seek some feedback, right? And then after that, you realize that they still have they feel like there's some areas that you still can improve, right? Okay, so you are not expected to change your final prototype, right? Because there is not enough time, okay? So essentially, when you go up to your mentor, when you show them your final prototype as it is, yes, your target group may have given some feedback. If you manage to find the time to change it, right, that is great. But that is not the full expectation. What we expect to see is that you are very clear of the areas that you can improve on. And at the end of the day, we call it a final prototype because this is not the final thing. When we send you for competition next year, if you all do really well, then you can improve on this final prototype. Make use of what your friends or your target group has given you. go and improve on it. Then when you go for the competition, it's a really good product. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some questions in the chat. I mean, the first question that I see by Nicole is a very interesting question. Okay. I mean, Mr. Tan can also add in, but I think for me is we also need to know why we cannot bring food in the library. Okay. The reason is because we cannot eat in the library, right? But I think when it comes to presentation like this, we also need to be sensible, right? If you were, let's say we allow, okay, the food items you brought in the library, I think it's clear to us that it can only be meant to be shown as part of your presentation. It can't be eaten in the library. So that means, in other words, if your food item is a slice of pizza, you cannot be bringing the entire pizza inside, and then after that, like 1 out of 8 pieces is in the prototype, but then 7 pieces is there for everyone to eat. And then I think we can't do that. Okay, but I think for this situation, all right, let's check with the library first. Okay, but I mean, in my mind, I'm also thinking that if they say they don't allow also, we also can be a bit creative in the idea of, let's say, for example, if your food item is a slice of pizza, okay, if really cannot, then I think we can always think about using plastic wrap to wrap the pizza, for example. So at least we can still bring in the pizza, but it's wrapped in plastic lah. I mean, so we'll work with, you know, all the groups on this. Okay, but I think we will try to aim to be allowed to bring the food items to the library. Okay, but give us some time to also double confirm with the library first. Okay.
Agree. Last year there were some prototypes that required to store water, for example. So we went around several ways. For example, one group bought a basin so that they ensure that the water don't spill onto the floor. Yeah, so there's a way we can demonstrate while ensuring we don't dirty the library. Eunice's question: can I check if our prototype must contain the actual product during the term 3 week SIG presentation and STEAMaker Fair? So the answer to Eunice's question is yes. The intent, when we say that your prototype is functional means that it can store and contain your actual product. Okay, so aim towards that. Tracy's question from 406: could we use a short video for our presentation during STEAMaker Fair? I think it depends on what the intent of the video is. If the video shouldn't take over your presentation. Remember, you only have 7 minutes. If your video is very long, around 2 minutes already, that just means you have less presentation time. So what is your video for? If the video is, for example, as you are talking and presenting, and in the background, the video is showing the building process or how it's working, then it complements your presentation rather than take attention away from yourself. Okay, because we are not grading the video, we are grading you, your ability to present. Okay. I think if there are no more questions, I just want to say that there are some seniors that have even approached me to ask, hey, what are our juniors doing for their STEAMaker project? Because last year they had quite a fun time during the fair itself. And they asked if they can visit and see what their juniors are doing. I said, of course, come and see. Okay, so they are excited. They want to see what you have built. And we shared with them that you are building for food this year. Okay, so I think they are also quite excited to see what you are bringing to life. For them, they were bringing to life quite technical things, and it was actually a very hard project to accomplish. But everyone's very excited to see yours. Okay, continue to look at each other's websites. I'm very excited for some of your projects. I know that some of you are packaging for cheese, some for yogurt, some for bread. Somebody is even creating packaging out of sugarcane waste, which I found very interesting. So you're going to visit the sugarcane store and grab all the waste products and then create paper from there, right? Okay, so very exciting products. One team leader asked, when can they order things again? I will update as soon as possible. I'll try to purchase maybe bi-weekly, so that you all can get products as fast as possible. But always remember, it takes time and you shouldn't let that affect your building process. I think that's all I have for myself. Mr. Chong, do you have anything last words before we send them off?
Yeah, I think like what Mr. Tan has mentioned, you know, like your seniors, they did have a good experience. Okay. At the end of the day, it's really about the learning. To be honest, you know, you can see that the in terms of the marks wise, okay, really while we say 25%, but at the end of the day, really, how much difference will it make when it comes to that few marks difference? Don't be too focused on like, wow, you must say it perfectly, must, you know, in a sense, everything must be be like word for word exactly the same as what you plan. I think more importantly is to enjoy sharing with everybody, you know, your project, your process. Okay. And I think just you know, immerse yourself in that joy of learning. Okay. Don't be too focused on all the nitpicking, all these details about, you know, the presentation, and you know, like what must say things word for word exactly the same as what you have planned. Okay, so I think at the end of the day, we really like you to be confident and share based on your heart, based on what you feel excited about when it comes to your project. Okay, Ken, so do spend some time to think about how you can share this with your group mates, because they didn't attend this briefing. Okay, at the end of the day, we hope that all of you have fun. That's the most important thing. Okay. All right, I think that's all from me, and maybe we can end the meeting here. Okay, thank you.